All right, here we go. Creme Anglaise. Otherwise, translated is English cream. In some circles, I've even heard it referred to as creme française. But of course, that's only from French people. All right, here's our finished product, or the product that's come off the stove and is now cooling in an ice bath. We're going to jump right into this recipe, so let's get over to our mise en place. We have a saucepan with a nice fit for a bain-marie or for a double boiler, egg yolks, our panel of tools, sugar, whole cream, and vanilla beans. I've got 2 vanilla beans here, which both are going to go inside of this creme anglaise. Our panel of tools, a digital thermometer, 2-ounce ladle, piano wire whisk, rubber spat, and one of my favorite pastry knives. Let's start by building our bain-marie or double boiler. In culinary terms, people usually refer to this as a bain-marie, Marie's bath, and translated in French. Now you'll notice that my double boiler or my bain-marie, I've got the right size stainless steel bowl insert, not too big or too small. It fits right into the water. You see that there's a little bit of float, but by the time I put these 4 cups of cream in there, it's going to push that water up the side walls of this bowl, and it's going to be a real nice snug fit. I'm not going to have a bunch of steam coming out, and it's going to work real good for this application. I'm adding half a cup, roughly 1/3 of the sugar to the cream mixture, of which now I will be adding the seeds from the vanilla pods, or these vanilla beans, okay? You see me prepping them by pressing it flat. The reason why I do that is I want to make certain that I can get my knife through this, usually in one pass, but apparently my knife isn't that sharp from cutting on this marble. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make certain we've cut this all the way through, and then we're going to run our knife blade away from us at about a 45-degree angle, pulling all of those vanilla bean seeds, and then wipe it against your whisk, not actually into the cream. Otherwise you're going to bring back a dirty knife, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants a messy pastry session, right? See what I'm doing? Right here. So now we're going to mix this in to our cream with the sugar, and get this well blended together before we put it on the stove. Does anyone else wonder where these Fritos came from in the back corner of that shot? I think somebody must have threw them in my station when I wasn't looking. But at any rate, we want to make certain that we have a moderate flame, not too high, not too low, just enough to induce a good strong heat without bringing it to a boil or evaporating all of our water from the bottom of it before we go ahead and whisk the yolks. As I'm simply taking the egg yolks and I'm beating them pale or to ribbons and bringing some more air inside of those yolks, right? We want to get air inside of the yolks so that we can incorporate all of this sugar. You know, I've got almost a cup and a half of sugar that has to go into these egg yolks. So we want to increase the volume as much as we possibly can right here, right? And so that we can get all of that sugar inside of it. And then eventually we'll be incorporating the hot cream with the vanilla and the sugar into these egg yolks with sugar. And that's what makes for creme anglaise, okay? So we're going to be taking this over to the stove area here in a minute and getting all this put together. This stage is very important. You really want to get these egg yolks beaten to nice ribbons. And you can see that's what I'm doing here. It's kind of a fast whisk. Let's get the rest of that sugar in there. And that's going to also help us to hold some of the air inside of these egg yolks, right? We've got a little bit more sugar. It creates a little bit more stability inside of there. And in a minute, you're going to see what I'm talking about when beat to ribbons. I've had more people ask me, well, you know, what does ribbons look like? It looks like this right here, okay? They're not going to hold up like soft peaks. It's just where you can see the ribbons like this close-up shot right there. All right, let's go check our cream and see what temp we're at. Remember, we're looking for 180 degrees. I also want you to notice that, look, I'm not using a whisk in here. If I put a whisk inside of this right now, I'm going to bring too much air. You can see from the earlier whisking that I did that there is a little bit of some foam on top, and that's just from the whisk. So right now, everything I'm doing by pulling the ladle up and out, I'm helping to get rid of some of those bubbles, right? I'm just moving it slowly. Let's check our temp. Right now, I've got room temp on my digital thermometer that I just stuck in your face. So yeah, all right. So what we have to do here is we have to make certain that our cream gets up to 180, 185. Looks like we're right about 190 right here, okay, which is perfect because now we can take this, pull it off the heat, bring it over to my cold station where we're going to go ahead and incorporate this hot cream into our whipped egg yolks. Now, what we're doing here is we're proofing these eggs, or we're temping these eggs. And it's very, very important that we don't just pour the cold egg mixture into the hot cream, because then what will happen is we will scramble the eggs instead of making a sauce. So any pastry cream or zabayon or anything like that, this is the same procedure that you need to use. You need to proof your eggs. So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking one ladle at a time and bringing these egg yolks and sugar up to temperature so that it's not a shock on it and that it doesn't scramble. From this point on, that's going to be a huge concern of ours. We do not want to scramble these egg yolks. You know, I've talked about not putting too much air in, but at this point we absolutely have to have the whisk. All right, now I'm going back into my stainless steel bowl, getting ready to go back on the stove, but you know, I can't stress enough the importance of using a rubber spat to clean out the leftover ingredients in the bowl. It's part of the recipe, so you definitely want everything in there, right? I mean, you know, you omit the stuff that you worked on, you're not going to have as good a product, and it's just good kitchen habit to get into. All right, so we're going back to the stove here, okay? I've got my whisk a little bit more. Yeah, it's bringing a little bit of air. All right, little camera bobble, but we're just whisking this to make certain that that cream and egg yolk is really well combined, that the temperature is equal, that there isn't pockets of cold and pockets of hot. So right now we've got our medium flame on. I'm checking for temp. We're right about 145 in here at the most. And so now we're going to keep it over this medium heat in our bain-marie, and make certain that we bring this up slow enough as to not scramble the eggs, but yet quick enough so that we get the nice thickness that we want out of the sauce. This is about the most careful way that you can make a creme anglaise. It's really the right way. But coming up in my career, you know, we didn't have that kind of time. We'd have to go 2 gallons of cream at one time. And so we'd go directly on the stove with the cream, no double boiler. We'd beat our egg yolks and sugar pale to ribbons. And then we would proof it the same way we've done here. And then we would pour the egg mixture into the rest of the mixture on the stove over medium to high heat. And we'd take about 2 minutes to get this thing nice and thick, and then we'd pour it in a waiting ice bath through a chinois, which is a colander, a very fine mesh colander. So we'd pour it through the chinois to capture any of the eggs that happen to scramble, and then we'd keep it on ice real quick, keep moving it just like we're doing here, and then we'd end up with a gorgeous finished product. But I'm showing you the proper way to do it. All right, we pull that off. We definitely hit our 180. Now we're going to our ice bath, and we're going to cool this down just as quick as we possibly can. I'm pulling the ladle out, and for 2 reasons. One, I want to decrease the amount of air that we brought into it. By doing this, it does that. And 2, I'm constantly searching for any sort of evidence that we might have scrambled some of the egg in here. I can tell you right now I didn't, but it doesn't matter. I'm always looking, and I do want to pull the air out of this. So we've got this here. We're letting it cool. You can see it's sat long enough now to where it's in the ice all the way up to its collar. You can see that the viscosity has changed a lot, right? I mean, this looks much thicker. It looks really good. Look at the close-up of this, man. Is this stuff gorgeous or what, right? Oh my God, wait till you try this. Wait till you try this. If you the next thing we're making is a salted caramel ice cream with creme anglaise as the base to our ice cream. I'm telling you, man, there is nothing like a creme anglaise based ice cream. Simply pull it from the cooler, put it into my beautiful little Italian ice cream maker, and let it go. We're going to have gorgeous ice cream at the end. Then we're going to take that sauce caramel that we made in the last video, and we're going to salt it with just a little bit, man, just a little bit of some Hawaiian sea salt. Now watch, see what I'm doing here? I'm taking the extra effort to make certain when that came out of the ice that there was nothing stuck to it. Last thing we want to do is weaken our sauce by pouring water or an ice cube into it while we're trying to transfer it into a fleur bowl or whatever decorative bowl it is you're going to serve it in. So, all right, so we got this popping right here. Like I said, man, the creme anglaise ice cream is just amazing. Incorporating some of that sauce caramel that we made, it's going to make it great. All right, I'm going into a speed pour now. So I have some for Napane. I really recommend that you go out and buy some speed pours or whatever you call these, and put a little bit of plastic on just in case it falls over in the fridge. You won't have a mess and you don't lose the product that you just worked so hard to make. Let's get the rest of it covered up tightly, and let's get that in the refrigerator and have that hold for our ice cream that we're going to make tomorrow. All right, so remember, there's food and then there's love. This one, man, I'm telling you, this one is love. All right, peace.